Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, the weight shift in golf, how to do it effortlessly. We're going to look at both the backswing and the downswing, hopefully some helpful ideas. Okay, 4 facts about the weight shift in golf. These would vary a little bit from great player to great player, but let's say this. Number 1, we don't really want to shift weight in the backswing. The movement of the arms, the momentum of the swing causes pressure to accumulate on that back foot. Number 2, almost any great player, the point in their backswing at which there is the most pressure on this foot would be somewhere in here. Point number 3, by the time they're getting to the top of the backswing, the weight's already moving towards the target. And fourthly, around impact, the weight's going to be maybe 85%, maybe even a little bit more on that lead leg. Let's pick through these, hopefully give you some helpful hints.
Jack Nicklaus in the red trousers there, Justin Rose next to him. So let's look at Mr. Nicklaus. Look at his head, very steady, really pivots beautifully. He's just a little bit older in that video, so his backswing isn't as long. Let's look at Justin. And you can see with that pole or tree trunk or whatever it is behind him, he's very centered there. So as a rule, what we see, you get a few players like a Colin Montgomery, which shift his hips more in the backswing, etc. But as a rule, what we see is a very centered pivot. We don't see a shift into that back leg. Let's have a look. Yeah, great stuff there for Mr. Jack. And what you would notice if you watch force plate data, and I've watched quite a bit, the arms have weight, and the momentum of the swing in this direction early in that backswing especially will cause a buildup of pressure there a little bit as they swing over there. But that's not the same as shifting weight. And again, you'll see in all these cases, that's about as far as the knuckles or hands get from the target. After that, they are getting nearer the target this way, as is the right side going behind him. So the weight begins, the pressure begins to go from there and starts to center up.
Okay, so certainly there's many everyday players that tilt their belt line and topple their spine. We're certainly not advocating that. But if you're pivoting, for those that don't do that, in my teaching experience, more often than not, players are drifting. I think the thought is I've got to get my shoulder to turn, get behind the ball, and they get too far over here. That may put pressure on your right foot, but you're going to have a hard time getting far enough left to hit the ball consistently before the ground. So a couple of thoughts for that. Number 1, film yourself once in a while. See what you look like from this angle, or at minimum, get in front of a mirror, even without a club. Do I look centered? Is my right side moving that way? So a couple of drills, couple of quick thoughts, pivots there. Everybody knows that. Get your toes and knees out a bit so they're this way. It'll free you up to pivot, and you should feel like this glove hand, in the case of me here, turns behind me as much as this lead hand turns in front of me. That sort of a look. Another one I like, grip it lead hand only and just reach behind you. That will give you some sense of how this right rib cage for the right-handed golfer and hip should move behind you there. Okay, let's keep going.
So Adam Scott on the left, Justin Rose on the right, and we will see as Adam gets to the end of the backswing and his hands begin to get nearer the target or the golf cart, see his weight beginning to move already. And before long, if it's probably maybe 70-30 there and it's maybe 65-35 there, it's pretty quickly surging into that foot. And by the time he's hitting it, he's going to be 85-90% of his pressure on that foot. Now, let's just observe something. We won't be able to really see it, but I'm going to tell it to you. You would like the weight to go from roughly under the arch there to about towards that arch. In other words, a fairly lateral straight weight transfer in that area. But once he's down here, he's starting to turn out of the way. Certainly the weight's going to go back into his heel. Let's look at Justin. Watch his hips there against the golf cart and the hedge. Again, weight moving left as he's finishing his transition, surging straight across into that lead foot. There's a link below for a free 14-day trial at Scratch Golf Academy. No credit cards, gimmicks, or anything. I'm updating the courses as we go along these months, trying to make it as good as I can. Would love you to check it out for free. Thanks so much.
Okay, so what makes this difficult for people? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that golf is a game where the ball's still, it's not coming at me. Okay, there is a target. For most people, mentally, they're just trying to hit the ball. The feet don't really, I mean, they move a little bit, but they don't move around. And it just loses their athleticism, and they just fixate on the ball and try to hit it. I've yet to meet anybody that if you just took the club out of their hands, couldn't shift their weight a little bit. I've never met anybody that couldn't do that. So why is it so hard for golf? Again, ball fixation. And I think the other thing is the attempt to create speed. People thrust down like that. When you get all this energy going this way, it's pretty hard to move that way. As you see with the pros, the club and arms just hang there for a second until they move. So do this once. Take it up to the 3/4 position. Practice a little bump. I feel a little pressure going down into that foot. As long as I don't move my arms, that's easy. And then hit a couple of small soft shots and literally feel like you pause for 2 seconds. Like so. And start to build it up and start to focus out there. One other element of a good downswing we'll look at momentarily on TV, then work on, and I think would really help this process.
Adam Scott again on the left, Justin Rose on the right. So there they are in the backswing. What I want you to notice here is as the weight shifts, it's creating a narrowing of the arc. Do you see that? Increase in wrist load, narrowing of the arc. And what you'll see here is the point of full release of the club, which if we define that as both wrists and arms straight, club pointed, let's say between forearms. Let's go with Scotty here. Out there is well past impact there. So we're trying for a nice direct sharp hit with the true release of the completion of the release of the club well past impact.
Okay, a little analogy with a hammer here. Now, hopefully these little ideas I give with paintbrushes, hammers and things like that, they give you some confidence because you know what I'm about to show you, you wouldn't have any difficulty doing this. If you had a dry wall there you had to break with the hammer, you're not going this way to break the hammer. You're moving towards it and you're making the most direct path towards the impact point you can make. Again, it's difficult for people when the ball's here to think of the complete final width of the swing being there. But if you can do that, picture now a little, I'm trying to break the wall there. That's the feeling I want to get. Can I move and break it there and give yourself the freedom to start to narrow the arc and create more width over there. Hope these ideas are helpful for you.